Welcome to the good, the bad, and the sequel with your hosts, Doug and Jamie.
We are back, and this is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. I hope you enjoyed last week's interview with Joe Alves, production designer on Jaws, Jaws 2, directed Jaws 3, and so much more. And I cannot wait to talk about this sequel, Jaws 2. But before we dive, pun intended, into this week's movie, I have to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Doug. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Right now, I know right now we're recording it, but right now for people listening, it's Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I am thankful for good movie sequels and bad movie sequels, but I'm very thankful that Roy Schneider did this movie.
Well, I'm thankful that they made a first Jaws.
Yes.
Because I really enjoyed that movie, and I did watch it first, again, just to, bring me back to what, when I first saw it. I don't know if I could say the same thing about the second one.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to get into it then. But real quick, fun fact about this movie, Roy Schneider didn't want to do this movie. He didn't want to do it so bad. Just before they were shooting, he went to the Beverly Hills Hotel and went crazy, screaming to try to get committed. It was in his biography.
I knew that story when I started watching this movie. And honestly, I think you can tell he did not want to be there. Like, there's a lot of scenes in the movie where, like, if you compare his acting in the first movie compared to this movie, there's a night and day difference.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He was acting like going for an Oscar, The second one, it looked like sometimes he was going through an emotion. Like, he just like, all right, I have to be there, and we're going to do the best I can. But you could tell he did not want to be there. And can you imagine being on set with a guy who's starring in a movie who does not want to be there? Like, it had to be chaos daily.
Yeah, and he almost fought the director. All right, let's jump right into this. So this movie got right to it. For a lot of these movies we watch, title card right away. I like when they have a little bit beforehand, a little bit of breadcrumbs, and then they show us something. Then Jaws 2.
Jaws 2, and like pretty much two murders right away, like right off the bat. This movie reminded me of horror movies. This movie reminded me of Friday the 13th. In many ways. Before we go into detail, but one, you have a lot of the kids that are very similar to camp counselors. You have Jaws, who's kind of like stalking each kid, each person out there. It just reminded me of Friday the 13th. And, the first one was more suspenseful. I think this one's more like a horror.
Definitely. This one, to compare it to a movie that we've done before, and this is kind of an insult to put it in the same category, but it's Caddyshack 2-ish. Because in the first Caddyshack, it's just a gopher. The second one is a gopher that talks and has this shark in this movie. This thing has a lot of personality, and it is shown a lot.
It is, and it's amazing. I mean, the first movie is so iconic, and you really barely see Jaws until the end.
Oh yeah. Here
you see him a lot more. I think it was scarier in the first one. Like not seeing him, the music makes it all, but just I don't know. This I thought I enjoyed this movie years ago better. We'll get into it.
Yeah. So you said it best. So right in the beginning, you had these divers taking photos in front of what was the orca.
Why were they doing that?
I don't know, but they mentioned later that they were two rich guys because it was like $100,000 boat.
Right.
The camera must have been expensive. But they're taking the photos and. Yeah, 2 down. Right, I was marking the kills this time. Kills 1 and 2 right away. Photobomb. Jaws comes out of nowhere.
And that was that was 10 years ago, right? Or what was the time frame between Jaws 1 and Jaws 2?
3.
It was only 3 years?
Yeah.
No way. Why do you say 3 years?
Because it was 75 to 78.
No, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the characters.
I would say probably only 3. Oh, it is only 3 years. No, because Martin Brody says when he gets. Spoiler alert, when he gets fired, he says, when we came here 4 years ago.
Yeah, but why is Mikey 10 years older than he was in the first movie? I mean, he looks like the first movie, he's only 8, 9?
No, I know.
And the second movie, he's like a senior in high school. So that's why I thought it was 10 years.
No, I think it's only 4. Well, it has to be like 3 or 4 because that's how long they've been there.
Okay, then you know what? That's going to prove my point later on about something else. Okay, so all right, 3 or 4. So like that I don't. If it's 3 to 4 years, I was just wondering why these rich guys decide to look for the orca, or were they looking for that boat in particular, or they were just just doing whatever they wanted to, and they happened to come across it.
I have to pose the question right back to you. I'm going to answer your question with a question. I don't think anybody remembers what happened. Because if you think about it, when he starts talking about the shark, everyone that's on the beach, I'm sure some people are repeat vacationers. They think he's crazy. Like, oh my God, why would there be a shark here? Okay, there was a shark here 3-4 years ago. And my note right here, this is funny you mentioned Jason before. Because I wrote, I wouldn't go back to Camp Crystal Lake. Why would people go back here?
I thought about this and like, listen, I don't like when they say there's a jellyfish in the water. And I don't want to go near the water, let alone that there's been shark attacks. But again, don't forget the mayor, which by the way, how long can someone be mayor for? Because I don't know how this guy gets reelected because he's such a douche. He's like, I don't know. He's the biggest douche. He might have like kind of hid a lot of it. Like, somehow like not let what happened on the boat. I guess, I don't know. Because I think according to the people there, they already caught the shark in the first movie. Like, I don't know if they knew how far it went to the second one, right?
No, I know. Yeah. Because just to go to your point, I don't know how he gets reelected because it makes no sense. But no, it seems like only the people on the board remember what happened.
Because they didn't promote it, is what I'm saying. Like, they're talking about a lot of summer people going there for vacation. So it's not like it's a lot of locals. So I think it's a lot of people, new people coming in. So they probably weren't paying attention. Who knows? Yeah,
I think it was the kid from I don't know if it was the kid from Christine and Back to School, the son in Back to School. Yeah. So I don't know if it was him or his friend Timmy. One of them said, nobody likes me or nobody respects me because I live here year round.
Are you talking about Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes.
That guy looked just like Napoleon Dynamite. You know what? It was just strange. And, we'll get into his firing because I don't, that happens in every single movie. Like every movie, there's a hero, and then it becomes like forgotten about. So
yeah. So just like you said, there's a little difference in Cheap Brody, like a 180 turn. He was kind of scared. He was kind of nervous of just the water part of it. But he's a cop from New York City, and right in the beginning of the movie, they show him. He's coming from, I guess, off the island. He's running late to a party. How douchey was his wife's boss? He was touchy.
Yeah. Very.
I thought he was later he does. But at that moment, I'm like, man, I hope he knocks this guy out because he was like, can you be a doll and go fetch us some drink or something like that? It's like, dude, how can you say this when the cop's wife, her husband's right there? Well,
speaking of him being a cop now, so he's a cop from another, you said New York City?
New York City. Yeah.
Okay. So there's only like 2 cops on that island.
Yeah.
Is he a cop of just the beach? Like this, because Brody spends the entire time in both movies on the beach. He's on the Shark Tower where he's hanging out there. Like there's no crime anywhere else. Like he doesn't do anything else. But like, is he like a beach cop? Is he like a beach patrol or?
Well, I think people are only on the beach. I think it's a really small island, but I don't think it's small enough that it's all beach. But no, he's always there, or at his house, or in the police station. That's it.
Oh, and when he's at the police station, I mean, this happens later on. He just sits there with no shirt on. Or I thought that was a little weird. I mean, like if I'm walking into someone's office and he looks all sweaty and he's got his shirt opened, it's a little weird.
So have you ever seen? So one of the rich people in the town, one of the business owners, donated to, I think it was the high school. It was a money tree. Have you ever seen one of those before?
I haven't been lucky enough to see one.
It was like a tree, and then they just stapled or taped money to it, and it was like such a big deal. And they had, I think, the cheerleaders were there at that big party.
My daughter watched the movie with us, and she I guess she thought it was like a high school thing because you had the cheerleaders there, and then you have the young girl in a bathing suit. She's like, "Dad, isn't that kind of weird to have this girl walking around in a bathing suit?" I'm like, honey, it's not a high school thing. It's just she's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I'd never seen a money tree. I don't hang out with rich folk.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So like you said before, this movie's a little bit different because obviously you had two amazing characters in Dreyfuss and Shaw that aren't in this movie. So it focuses more on like Brody's oldest son and his friends. So
that was the biggest to me. That is what changed it because they were two iconic characters.
Oh yeah.
You know, what's his name? Quint and Hooper.
Yeah.
Hooper. They were awesome. And like they made the movie even with the shark together, just like they were just iconic. Here, there's like no likable characters. Even the kids weren't really likable. Like, you know, like it was just, I think it was missing that element of having characters that you really care about.
Yeah, and they had a lot of like wasted time in the movie, like a lot of just the kids riding on boats, teens on boats, just floating around. But one thing I have to ask is, so the one girl is trying to set up Martin's oldest son, Michael, with one of her, like with her cousin, and the girl was wearing a pantsuit.
Well, I was going to say I was going to get that.
They're like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, the clothing. Now, I know this was filmed in the 70s, but they spend a lot of time on the water. Like the kids. Like they all have boats. No one wears a bathing suit. They're all in jeans, button-down shirts, collared shirts, pantsuits. Like that's what they use to go on the water. Like I've been on many boats. If I'm going to spend the day in the water, I'm wearing a bathing suit.
Yeah. You know? No, I know they filmed this movie, and I think the other one had the same issue. The first one, I feel like they filmed it when it was cooler out, but you have to pay these people to suck it up because they were talking about in some of the scenes that I was reading, because they filmed in cooler weather, they would have the actors like suck on ice cubes before they filmed, so the breath wasn't hot against cold, and you could see the
really,
yeah. So they had to film at like a weird time of year because there's a lot of people that vacation there. But that's funny. So the pantsuit girl, and then the mayor's son. I had to write this quote down. He says, "She's got tits like a sparrow," and I read that line was improvised, and the actor, the one that played the mayor's son, afterwards felt so bad that they said basically like, "Hey, just say any line about her," and that's what he thought of. And then there was like one take, and they're like, "All right, we'll use that."
There were a couple of funny lines, but yes, that was that's just ridiculous.
So you talked about him, and he's in the Shark Tower as a cop, and he's in the police station with a shirt on. How about the first time we see him in the police station? Everyone's lined up just complaining about nothing. The one lady was complaining. The guy was complaining about a lady that is in a towel that's taunting his son, and the guy was like 80. So how old's his son that's living at home?
And wouldn't you think that the guy would like to watch that too?
I would hope so.
I mean, is that really harmful? I mean, is that? I don't think it's really frowned upon if she's in her home doing that. Yeah, I mean, like, and then Brody being the police because he only wants to focus on the beach. He didn't want to deal with anybody bringing complaints to him. So, like, what is he a cop? Like, what is he a police of? Like, he had complaints with like I think 3 separate people at the police station. He ignored every single one of them.
I think he's above that. And I think this kind of goes to, obviously that's what the script was. I'm sure if we read it, a lot of the lines will be the same. But I think it's to what you said. Like he was like, I don't want to do this movie. Because some of his lines were, I'm not saying there a lot of them were improvised, but some were so good when he's like, hey, deputy, why don't you go to this house, check out this lady in the towel. And he was like, he just walked right out like right away.
Well, I think because again, it came across that him not wanting to do a movie, that he came across more cocky a little bit in this movie. Like in the first movie, he was such a wuss. Like he was like the biggest wuss in the world. And he had like an attitude this movie, I think, until he had to go in the water again. But yeah, I think it showed. I just think like he didn't care. So he's like, you know what? He had an attitude. And I think that's why. So he didn't want to help anybody. And yeah.
I liked him in this movie. I honestly like his character. I think it was cool for him to be that he went through that because it seemed like he was the only one that was affected. Even the wife didn't seem too affected until like the very, very end. But so the first time that we see the shark again, I think that's the coolest thing because you're right. It's just like Friday the 13th. It's Jason. They show like the backdrop. They show the kids like on their boats. And then you see his head pop up and he's staring at them.
Yeah. And it felt like he was stalking them, and it was like the campers, and he 100% reminded me of Jason. And then you think that he's going to kill someone right away. The guy that was parasailing on a flag Was that a flag? Like, it wasn't even a parachute. What was that?
I don't know. It looked like it was a flag. I think it was supposed to be a parachute, but it looked more like a flag. And that was Brody's kid. So you're like, he can't get eaten. But then the timing of it, and it looked pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was definitely cool, that part. I mean, I thought that was the first kill right away, But, okay, we kind of touched this before. So, like we said, if you're in an area where there was shark attacks, you'd be kind of nervous to do that. Brody was face to face. First of all, afraid of water, face to face with a shark multiple times, and he's still doing the same job. Like at that point, wouldn't you like move your family away from there or retire or something? Like, how is he still police on the beach? Like he's still like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be traumatized. He was face to face with a shark that was the size of a house. How is he not traumatized?
I know. I'd be out. I wouldn't like put myself in that same position. I would not let like my kids be even close to the water. So no, I probably move to like Nebraska.
Yeah.
Just get away from it all, like just cornfields and just deal with that.
Absolutely.
So the next kill.
Oh, we
awesome.
have to talk about this.
This was awesome.
Well, okay. So we're talking about the mother and the skier.
Oh, was that a mother and daughter?
Well, first of all, it reminded me of mother because she looked like a mother who just got done cleaning the kitchen. She was wearing gloves. Her hair was in a handkerchief, and she was old. Like she just looked like she just got done cleaning.
Yeah,
I thought it was a mother and daughter. I mean, I was assuming it was a mother and daughter. But all right, so talk about the kill first, and then we'll talk about the mother because that mother scene was ridiculous.
So when the girls water skiing, they start going faster. She's going back and forth, and the shark gets closer and closer, and it's almost like he hit Nos, like it was like like Fast and the Furious, because I don't know, she was just gone. He jumps up, he eats her out of the water, and again, we already saw the shark, like his fin pop up, and we saw him a little bit. But dude, after this kill, so he eats the water skier. The mom, the cleaning lady, goes around in a circle in the boat, and she's like, "What's going on?" And then.
So her idea of killing the shark was pouring gasoline, thinking that she's going to catch the shark with gasoline. Like she's going to be able to. So like, I'm assuming if you throw gasoline on water, it's going to float a little bit. It's not going to even get on the shark. Right. So her idea was to try to somehow get the gasoline on the shark, completely misses it and gets it all over herself. Right. That's so the next bright idea she has was to get a flare gun. Was that a flare gun that she had? So then, I mean, like, so then she lights the flare. Like, this is like, I guess supposed to be a serious scene. I thought it was comical. Like, it was like, it reminded me of like a Leslie Nielsen thing. Like, everything was going wrong after another. And then she puts herself on fire.
I know.
Basically blows up.
And just before that shark went airborne. That shark, when he hit the boat, they showed like the POV, and then he like crashed into the boat. Then you see him like, so they had a bigger budget obviously for this movie. So the first one did so well, and they had more time to make the shark. The freaking thing's airborne, and then the half of its face gets burnt.
I did like that part.
That was cool
because they left it in the rest of the movie. So the rest of the movie, he's got like a scar like Jason.
Hell yeah.
So that's why I'm telling you, it's like a very similar to Jason thing. So now he's got this scar in his face of a burnt face the whole movie. This shark gets the crap beat out of him. Like, he does get it beat up, throughout the movie, but he keeps coming back.
Why did they show the young couple that were like, they were hooking up in the dunes, and then they were like, I want to go water skiing. The one girl runs up, she looks, she's like, let's go do that. And then, no, we'll do it next week. She's like, you always say next week. And then the explosion goes out. Then they run to the house where there is a mom and daughter just hanging out and watching it. And then they're giving play-by-play to Brody showed up, right?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was the only house on the beach.
It was, yeah.
So you have all these people that are there all the time, and it's one house on the beach. So, yeah. And then Brody goes there, and right away, I like how he starts talking. I guess, well, he didn't find the girl. He didn't find the body yet, right? Or like,
No, he didn't find it yet, no.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I guess does he think it's a shark yet or no? Right away?
No, I don't think he thinks it is just yet, because he said there was like an explosion.
Okay.
There still hasn't been any, like they haven't found anything yet. But how about when he tells his deputy? I think it's the deputy, right? Is that what he keeps calling him?
Yes.
He goes, why don't you go in there and dredge the bottom of the ocean? So he's dredging it. And it's cool the way they like just place that out of nowhere when he pulls up the power line. And I'm like,
a little foreshadowing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked it. And then then that couple, that we talked about earlier that wanted to go water skiing. The boyfriend put it off. They find a killer whale
in the middle of the beach.
Yeah.
How does it get there?
I guess it could wash up with the tide, but it was way too far in.
It was very far. And then first of all, the whale was huge, and it was way deep in there. I don't know if the tide could push something that massive that far up, But so that's where Brody sees the bite, right?
Yeah, and we have to talk about his conversation with the expert that came in. The Hooper, the female Hooper.
Yeah. Well, I do like how Brody starts talking about the circumference of the bite. Like he was taking a lot of stuff from Hooper from the first movie.
Oh yeah.
So he was kind of a professional this time around. But the woman was it was almost like a robot. The way she was acting, she seemed very just robotic.
When he said, "I think it's a great white shark," and she goes, "A carnarius concarnating?" I'm like, wait, did you just shout back the Latin phrase in front of all these people on the beach? Because there were people around. And then how about, this is a cool part of the movie. And it kind of it's cool, but it's kind of corny that he asked the question. But when he looked at her and he was serious, because I think after he saw the bite, he was like, do you think they can know when another shark was hurt or killed? And she's like, what do you think? Sharks have feelings? And I'm like, dude, this one does.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if this is this one. I know the third one is related, right? It's revenge. So it's the
fourth is revenge.
Okay. All right.
Third is 3D. Yeah. Fourth is the one that follows her from there to.
So are these supposed to be in the same family? These sharks?
I don't know.
They don't explain that.
But he knows who to go after.
He does.
He knows exactly who to go after. So then he goes to try to talk to the mayor again. And like we said,
want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Said before, this mayor sucks.
He really does.
And he's basically like in the first movie, he would do this crazy stuff. He'd be like, yeah, there's a shark on the beach. He's like, yeah, I think this year we're going to have the best rentals that we had. It's like, what?
So this is okay. So this is where the 4 years to me. Okay, so if it was 10 years, it makes it's better. But 4 years, so it's not that far along from the last disaster that happened.
Yeah,
and he still doesn't believe Brody. After what happened, how many people died in the first movie? He's still poo-pooing it and saying, "No, yeah, you're crazy." It's not this guy is a jerk. He's really he's unbelievable. How he still doesn't. He doubts Brody. And he doubted Brody up until the scene where his son went to chocolate in the first movie. Yeah. And when he was at the hospital, he's like, I'm sorry, I thought I was doing it. And that's when he made him sign to sign Quint. And that's when they went after him. So he obviously knew, he felt bad. He doesn't care anymore. He's psycho, man. He's nuts.
Maybe if he was like, let's shut down the beach, the other guy that runs against him be like, no, I would have kept the beach open. Screw sharks. And then he would have won, because they only make their money in 3 or 4 months. Quint made that joke, and he was like, "Oh, you're not going to be able to have food in the wintertime."
What if the mayor is in cahoots with the shark? And what I mean by that is, listen, obviously people are still going there, hearing about shark attacks. Did he want to go there maybe to see the shark? So maybe he's allowing the sharks to come in, brings more tourists there, which is bringing more money.
What if sharks? What does he pay him? Or he says you can eat a few?
Well, I'm not saying he's in cahoots with the shark and paying him.
Oh, I think you meant that they had a deal.
Well, I mean, he's the one bringing the shark in somehow. He's transporting the sharks in. So now people are going to, they want to see the shark attacks. And then they get excited when all these fishermen go out there to get the bounty on the shark. Let's bring in all fishermen come to town. Now that newspapers are taking pictures of the people that catch the shark. I mean, I'm just saying it could be a money thing.
So you're saying Mayor Vaughn, he has a shark guy that he has dropped the shark off.
He has a shark guy.
And target people. I thought you said, when you said cahoots, I thought he meant, the next question, my follow-up would have been, how does he pay him? Do sharks use money or?
Well, the first movie, the one shark they caught had a license plate, a tin can, and a few fish heads. Yeah. So it doesn't take much to pay off a shark.
So Brody, he wants to go out and he wants to check out the water, which again, this guy's freaked out of the water, and he's even scared to walk in, even just walk in shallow water. Even he takes his shoes off and he rolls up his pants and he gets in there. He sees something floating And it's that lady, she's attached. Her burnt body's attached to a piece of the boat.
Well, he saw what looked like a piece of wood at first.
Yeah.
So I saw the movie a long time ago. I jumped a little bit when I saw the lady.
Oh,
I wasn't expecting that. But like, I didn't think the wood was that concerning to him that he would, that he was concerned about it. Like it looked like driftwood. Like I didn't think it was much of it, but he went out there and then first of all, he left the body out there. Like he left the wood and the body, and as soon as he saw it, he ran out. Like he left. Like I don't know.
This is where he's crazy for the rest of the movie. That changed everything. Because the next thing he does, he goes into the office. He's putting liquid cyanide on the bullets and then burning wax to keep it in.
This is when he has no shirt on, or his shirt's open?
I think this is when his shirt's open. Yeah, he's going crazy. He looks, even like his whole face, he's all red, sweaty.
He's all sweaty. That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine you walking in someone's office is all sweaty and the shirt open, and then he's quickly hiding something. As soon as the deputy went in there, he covered it real quick. When you think something like wacky's going on,
I would think something.
And the deputy was looking at him like, all right, what's going on here? But he never questioned him. Like he saw him grab the stuff when he left. He was.
Well, deputy's lucky to have a job. He's not that good.
No, he's definitely like Deputy Doofus.
I gotta go to work. It's like, what else are you doing on this island?
So his weapon of choice again is a pistol. I know he's loading those bullets up, but again, this is a huge shark, and his weapon of choice is a pistol. A pistol
with cyanide.
Okay.
If a droplet does anything, are you a cyanide expert?
I am, and I did a lot of studying in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that would have that would not be my first choice. I would go for the harpoon again. Maybe a harpoon. I don't know if I had a pistol, but it definitely scares a lot of beachgoers with it later on. So.
Oh my god! So I love the way. What's funny? I remember this movie as Hooper was in it. But that was my memory as a kid. I'm a kid. The last time I saw it was probably like 10, 15 years ago. But then it was just a phone call and he wasn't there. They called him at the house and basically said, Matt Hooper, he's on the same thing that he gave up in the first one. They used the same name of that one outside Australia.
Yep.
Swim with the sharks.
I wrote this line down about the mayor, and the one thing he said, it just shows you what kind of a douche he is. Not to go back to the mayor, but he said something like, don't press it this time.
Yeah.
So he knew, so this is after he saw the lady. He's now, I guess this is when he sees the mayor again, right?
Yeah.
So this is before he should start shooting at the beach.
This is before, next.
Right.
So the shooting at the beach starts with, so they do that beach montage because they show, again, people they're in the water, but this was a little bit too long too. I wrote down some of the things that I saw. One of them, I don't know if you remember these, but they showed a lot of bikini butts close up.
Yes, three women walking forward.
Yeah, and it was like, all right, are they going to cut away?
They also showed a lot of people dressed in clothes on beach blankets.
I know. So how about there was a guy that was taking a photo of two women? Did you?
Yes, I did. Yes.
He looks at them and he does the motion to, come on, get a little closer. Come on, get a little closer. And then they finally get closer. He takes a photo and then they go back after the butts. They show them again with the guy taking another photo. But dude, when he's in the Shark Tower and the real estate developer, because that's who Ellen Brody works for, the real estate guy, they're trying to show off oh, this is our beach. People are enclosed in the beach. It's just weird. How is that a selling point? But he's like, oh yeah. He's like, oh man, he's in the tower. Maybe nobody will notice. And then some lady, hey, they were wondering, what's that guy doing up there?
Within seconds. There's right after he said that.
And his excuse, and he's like, sometimes people use it for bird watching. Look for birds up there.
That was the best answer he can give.
I know. He was really he looked like another actor, but he was not even close. He looked like the guy that was in the guy that played in Big Daddy, the father, but younger. He's in a bunch of stuff, Transylvania.
Yep.
But he kind of looked like him, but this guy sucked. I hated him. He was so ridiculous. The way he was hitting on Ellen and just how, again, he dismissed him too. He must have lived in that town and known what happened. And he was like, I don't care. I just need to sell new buildings here.
Hence, bringing sharks in, attracting. I'm telling you, they're all in cahoots.
So he's in the Shark Tower and he's looking out and he sees something. And I'm like, oh, dude, is this shark about to go crazy and eat people? And then, dude, when he runs out there and he pulls the gun out.
Well, first of all, he's saying, get out of the water, right? Okay. Not one person moved. Now, you got this cop who's screaming, get out of the water. It took him, he must have said it about 10 times before they finally started getting out of the water. But he was screaming it right off the bat. No, they all just looked at him and stared at him.
I know.
Like again, this is a town that has sharks. You know, the second someone says, get out of the water, I'm running.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, so they started, first of all, he also, before he even started shooting at what was out there, how about the guy that stole the raft from the kid? Like it was complete chaos. Like it was every man and woman for himself. Like they left kids out there. They were trampling on everybody. The one guy stole the raft to paddle his way in. Like,
I love when he pulls the gun, when he lifts the gun up, they show like the front shot. So you see the back of the beach. You can't see the water. Then when he's about to pull the trigger, there's still a kid right there. And he just fires it 6 times. And I love the off camera. They probably didn't see it. Hey, that's just a school of bluefish. And he looked crazy.
He looked crazy. The fish was not close. Like the shadow was pretty far out there that he thought he was going to hit it with the pistol, like a shark. I mean, I still don't understand that. But yeah, and he's shooting while a kid's out there.
I know. So then right after that, which I don't know why he wasn't fired on that spot. Why not right there? He gets canned. But it's not like he's the head of it. So obviously the mayor and other people are in charge. It's kind of weird. I don't know. The guy fires a gun in public right near people and just nothing happens. And then how about the real estate guy makes his wife leave?
Yeah.
Come on, Ellen, let's go. It's like, wait, my husband just fired a gun.
Well, that I wrote that down. So, everybody's leaving. There obviously is panic. He looks like he's in really big trouble right now. His wife, he didn't make her leave. He said, come on, let's go. She could have stayed. She left with the real estate guy. Why didn't she stay back with her husband? Like, give him support.
I don't know. That's what made no sense to me. And then she actually left. I thought when he said it, she was going to because he was kind of pulling her. I thought she was going to break through and go, but no. And then right away, the next time we see him, he's going to the photo mat to see the developed photos from that diver's camera because they couldn't see him. And dude, he has some, again, I love how pissed off he is in this movie. So he has some great lines, like the lady in the towel. Oh yeah, that's great. I'll come and take a look. But he's getting it developed. The camera store owner tries to make small talk, and he says, "Don't jerk me around."
He was angry. He was angry this movie.
And this is one part that can't be in movies that are set, in the last 15 years. It wouldn't make sense, but it was dramatic. Waiting for that film to develop. It was cool.
It was cool, but it was very long.
Oh no, I know.
It was almost too long. Like they could have cut it down. Like they kept going back and forth. You see the white paper, and then he showed another scene. They see the white paper again, another scene. They might have seen the white paper about 3 times, and then you started seeing it slowly come to picture, and then it went back. Like they made it very dramatic. Like what are you going to see? What are we going to find down there? And all you see is an eye.
I know. I get why they did that for the next scene, but it would have been cool if it was something that was better. But
it was very well. I think they did it purposely because obviously it was kind of difficult to make out 100%. So I guess they had to use that as this guy's crazy.
Oh, dude, when he takes it to the meeting and they're hanging out, the same people that hang out every night. It seems.
Yeah.
Even in the first movie, the same lady, the sassy woman. She owns, I don't even know what kind of story she owns, but she's super sassy. And they're passing the photo and they're like, I don't see it.
And it's late at night. What are they doing late at night? It's late at night, like midnight. It looked like very dark. No one's out. And these guys are having a meeting.
I'm hoping they're worried. Maybe that's why.
They didn't seem too worried.
Maybe they're figuring out how to pay the shark.
See? I bet you the shark was in the back room.
I love when the mayor, this is what's great about Mayor Vaughn. He knew how crazy Martin was. He's like, Martin, it's okay. Give us the photo again. You take a seat and then it'll be all fine. And then the next scene, dude, he's pissed drunk. Brody is pissed drunk.
Well, but you know what though? But see, I didn't see it that way. I didn't see it as the mayor seeing how crazy Brody was. It was the mayor trying to make Brody look crazier. See, I don't think Brody was crazy, obviously, because he knows there's a shark out there. He was crazy for that moment of shooting at the school.
Yeah.
But he knows there's a shark out there. Where the mayor is now like, oh, all right, you know what? This guy's going to bring bad press here again. We can't have it, so we got to make him look crazy. And that's what they did. Because they really they looked at it, fine, we'll look at the picture again. They already had their answer. They already knew they were firing him anyway. They made it look like, let's discuss it first. And then the next thing, they didn't even show you, but he was fired.
Yeah.
But again, this goes to show you that they do this in every movie. Like even Bruce Willis, he could save the world, and then the next movie, everybody hates him. like they forget all the stuff they do. This guy saved how many people that could have died in the first movie, and now they act like he's like a loser.
No, I know. Well, I guess if you fire 6 rounds into a wave when there are people around, I don't know.
Yeah, but when you're the beach police, you're allowed to do that.
That's part of the training. You don't fire at like targets. You fire at waves. So one thing we didn't talk about before, but it's something really small, but is when he's like, you wanted a summer job to his son. He's like, you're going to start. He was like having him paint buildings. So he'd be out of the water. He's like, I want your boat out of the water tomorrow. So then when his dad's hammered and I think the wife got hammered with him too, they sleep in late. Michael and then the little brother convinces Michael to take him. They go sailing. And dude, this scene when they show the
little brother's first of all blackmailing him.
Oh, I know that's true.
But yeah.
So when they go out there, they show them go onto the water. For some reason, he lets his little brother go with some woman in a different boat, which is kind of weird,
Well, they're all friends. They're all friends, and I guess he showed the other girl. Okay, you're trying to hit on this one girl. You really want your little brother around?
No, that is true, but he's old enough to know that there were sharks and people have been dying. Or at least they know.
Yeah, but maybe he thinks his father's crazy too.
Maybe. Maybe he wishes his dad was a shark. Maybe his dad. So when when they show the divers, I'm like, these freaking guys, 4 years ago, there was a shark that ate in these waters, and this is where you're going to choose to go of all places. I was just thinking, this is a buffet. Somebody's going to get eaten, but nothing. He just nips them. He barely hits them.
Yeah, so he had to bite like 7 divers down there.
Yeah, and then the one guy gets nipped, and nobody really sees it until he gets up.
Yep.
But when they're like, we have to go back in, no one calls the Coast Guard and says, hey, here's where we are. I think there was something happened to this guy down here because his mask was like cut.
Yeah.
It was like bit a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was going to be another kill because it's been a while since that lady, sacrificed herself.
You know what? The first half of this movie was kind of slow, to be honest with you, because again, it was all about the kid connections. Outside of the woman pouring gasoline on herself, there really wasn't much going on. So it was kind of slow, right? So you were expecting something else, and it's still nothing happened yet. We had to wait for the kids to get pretty deep out there. And
what was cool with that part with the diver, I forgot I wrote this down. The music was so calm because they were doing something that was so like therapeutic, like floating in the water. Yep. And when the music turned and the shark looked so cool with the burns, because that's the first time we saw it again after it happened. And that looked cool. I really like that they did something like that to show, like you said, this shark really takes some bumps in this movie.
He does. And you know what? I think it could have been easily not even left a mark on him, and I don't think anyone would have paid attention. But the fact that he left that burn scar on him, it added like character to the shark. Like it was so, and probably made the shark even more mad. So
definitely. So they wake up late, Brody and his wife, and he goes, I guess I gotta go turn the truck in. So when he walks outside, how many beer cans were empty next to the side of the truck? And did he just buy beer, park in front of the house, get shit-faced, then walk in the house?
And was he was returning the truck? Are you sure?
No, that's what he said. He said, I
didn't hear that part. So I thought he was still driving the truck. He was so drunk, he was just driving the police car.
No, he's like, I have to return it. And then the wife was like, okay, give me a ride to my job. So then he like steps over like a dozen beer cans. And did you notice in front of their house something? The yellow barrel?
No, I did not notice that.
From the first movie. They used one of them as a planter outside of his house. Pretty cool. Good keepsake.
That is.
Remember that time that the shark almost ate you.
So he's going to drive her. He's a driver to work. How would she normally go to work? Because they don't own that truck. Do they not have another car?
No, I don't think so. Maybe she easily paddles, but she's nervous.
Okay, interesting.
So the next kill is pretty good.
So this is Tina and her boyfriend?
That was her name, Tina. Yeah,
Tina. Okay,
Tina and Eddie.
I wrote Tina's name down because she was pretty much useless.
Oh, I know.
There was no effort to save her boyfriend whatsoever at any moment. She was a good screamer. Like she screamed.
Eddie!
But the second Eddie, first of all, she's in a boat. Eddie is kind of far away. Why isn't she trying to like paddle a boat closer to Eddie to get him? Like she's making this poor guy hustle back. And then the shark is obviously chasing him. And he grabs Eddie like right before he gets there. But then he's bit, he kind of like halfway jumps on the boat. So he's hanging on the boat.
Oh, I know.
She does not lend a hand. She's sitting there yelling at him, get on the boat instead of helping him.
This was a Rose and Jack situation from Titanic. The same kind of thing. She just like watched them and then she just laid there.
There was a shark at Titanic?
There could have been. Nobody was around. Nobody knows it was an iceberg.
That is true.
Could have been a ginormous shark.
Okay.
No, but that made no sense. Like the swim Eddie. But again, that guy they showed that front shot and then nowhere, when he got pulled down, it was just all blood. The whole water around her was just blood.
Yep. And then was she the one that went to no, the other one goes to shock. So then you don't see what happens to her, right? Like until later on. Like so you're thinking
in the boat for a while hiding.
Right, but you're thinking like, all right, the shark's probably going to kill her too, so you forget about her, and then they go to the other kids because I guess they stayed behind because they wanted to fool around. Is that what they were?
Well, they were friends with them. They didn't have any connection with them the whole movie. They were the randoms on the beach.
They were. Oh, I thought they were part of the. I thought they were just.
They were just random.
Oh, I thought they're all the same age. I thought they were just hanging out. Oh, okay.
No, that's what was weird about them because she was the one that was like, "Oh, let's go water skiing." They were always like,
I got you.
I understand, like they're part of the movie. So the next Brody finds out because remember the ambulance.
Yep.
So he starts finding it. He like is.
So he chases it. He chases the ambulance. Yeah.
And then that's when he finds out. The guy said, "Oh, I think it might have been." He says it was a shark. That's all he said. It was a shark. And then he finds out from the deputy that Mike's on the water. So he just thinks his oldest son's on there, which is freaky enough.
Right.
When he finds out his youngest kid, that gets even crazier. But dude, when they are just going out there. He takes the boat. The deputy is like, "Hey, I'm in charge."
So, okay, he knows obviously it's a massive shark. He knows by the bite marks. You wouldn't think a bigger boat.
That was a tiny boat.
That was a tiny boat. It didn't look too sturdy. Like it looked like a Popeye little thing boat. I mean, you would think. I mean, again, in the beginning, in the first movie, you're going to need a bigger boat. He said it twice in the movie that you would think he would have went out there with a bigger boat. That boat did not look like it was going to help anybody.
So I have the $1 million question. So he's a cop from New York City.
Yep.
When he did this job interview, no part of it was like, you don't like to be on the water. He didn't know how to start that boat. That's why the deputy came out because he's like, all right, I'll start it for you. And he was the one that was driving the boat the whole time. But then later, Brody knows how to drive the boat.
Well, does he? Because he crashes into the so he does crash. I mean, he does like he goes there to save the day, and he kind of like almost like ruins the whole thing. So yeah, he's good at fighting sharks, but not really driving a boat.
Yeah, which I guess if you're gonna have one or the other, the shark one really comes in handy when there's a giant shark.
It does.
So they show another montage, lots of teens on the water, and then they find the girl on the boat. They find Tina, and then Brody he goes on a solo mission. He goes, "Hey," he starts wailing the horn. He's like, "Hey, come over here." He's like, "They'll take you in." And he just leaves his wife.
Well, right. And first of all, why would he take his wife the first time? Like when he knows there's a shark out there, you're going to take your wife on the boat who has no like train. At least Brody has some kind of training, like whatever. You're going to bring your wife out there who's really going to be just dead weight.
I know.
Like, why would you risk her life as well? Like that made no sense. But right. Then he leaves his wife out there. How does he know the shark's not still circling around there?
I know.
And they're in a little raft.
I know. It made no sense. Why would they? Yeah, it was such a tiny boat. It had damage to it.
Yeah.
Because the shark kind of like bumped into it. No, that was so stupid.
Yeah.
How about the next scene? The shark just circling all the teens in all their boats. It caused them to panic and flip. The shark didn't touch any of the boats. The people were just like, "Oh," and they were all flipping over and over again.
They look like, and I think I wrote that down. They seem like they don't know what they're doing out there. Like it's like they all borrowed their parents' boats and they just went out for because they really look like they didn't know what they're doing. However, it seemed like those boats all were loaded with a lot of rope.
Yes.
There's a lot of rope. Like towards the end of the movie, there's ropes going everywhere. I don't know if that's part of like, having a boat. Like you need a rope for some reason.
Yeah.
Like what do you need a rope for on a boat?
Well, yeah, I guess you just have to tie it to the dock, but it doesn't have to be that long.
No, but they had multiple ropes.
No, I know.
Usually, isn't it like usually attached to the boat? Like this is like lasso ropes. Like these are like ropes that they were able to. First of all, they were so long, and like they weren't tied to anything. Like it was just
And the only boat that wasn't a parent's boat was the kid from Christine and Back to School, because his boat popped a hole.
Well, that was like, was that even a boat? Wasn't that like one of those windsurfer?
Yeah. It was like an inflate. Yeah. So then how does Mike get knocked out again? Just when it flipped over, he hit his head on, was it like the sail came around and hit him?
The sail came around and hit him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made a good first impression for that girl that he was sitting on.
I know. They just laying there dead weight in the water, and then they do the dramatic, oh, we're almost going to pull you up. Oh, we drop you. We're almost going to pull you up. We drop you. And they finally get him into the boat.
Yeah, I mean,
this shark looks so good in this movie. It looks cool, honestly. I know they still use some live footage from like Australia where they film the sharks underwater, but dude, it looks cool.
But yeah, definitely. But the first one looked a little bit more robotic. This one looked more realistic. Absolutely. But yeah, this is I expected a lot more death to happen at the end of this movie. How many? You said you're taking count, right?
Yeah.
How many people? How many? There are 5 now.
Eddie was 5. Yeah, there was 4 within the first 25 minutes.
Right, and then there's a lull of no killing.
Yeah,
and then all right, so there's 5, and then there's only 1 more coming up, right?
No, 2 more.
Are you counting the shark as one of them?
No, I think. No, there are 2 more. I got them. So how about?
Okay.
So this is funny. This is a reference to an earlier movie that we did. But so if you own a boat, shark eats the boat. Does insurance cover the boat? Is this like a Poltergeist 2 scenario that if your house just vanishes, disappears, it's not covered because it's not there?
I'm assuming damage is going to be covered. I mean, you're on the water.
Damage?
Well, a shark's in the water. A boat's in the water. Is it the same thing as fire damage in a house? Flood damage?
Or in a car?
Or in a car. We're not going to talk about Kia owners. Don't buy a Kia. But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it would cover it. But are you sure there's 2 more deaths?
Yep.
Okay.
I got them written down.
Okay.
So the next here, this is how you'll know. So Brody, when he's heading over and he finds out where the kids are, he calls a helicopter.
Oh yeah. Okay. Never mind.
He calls the helicopter. He's like, I need eyes in the sky. Get over there. And he's like, fine. So then when he lands, they're like, hey, thanks, mister. He hit his head, And then, dude, when that shark comes up, that's what I want on a poster. His face looking forward, the shark coming up.
Okay, first of all, it shows you how massive the shark is.
Oh.
He pulled the helicopter underwater.
I know.
I mean, he literally pulled the helicopter underwater. That was ridiculous. Like that whole scene was ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous.
I loved it. It was so cool looking the way he flew up, and then he just bit it.
What did he think he was going to do? He was going to drag them to that rock island? Is that what he was? Okay.
He was going to attach a rope to a helicopter.
Another rope. So they had
rope too. Everybody in this town, it's like you when you go to the island, they hand you rope. Your ticket. Here's your admission to the island. A rope. So yeah, he gets taken into the water. He's dead. He's kill number 6. The blade, that was cool when the blades were flying through the.
See, I think that was a good time to have like one of the kids get hit with a blade.
Oh yeah,
they should have. I mean, like that. No one got hit by that blade, and it would have been cool, like unexpected. One of the kids somehow or lost
Napoleon.
An arm. Napoleon Dynamite.
Timmy,
or maybe just give him a little trim. Scalp him a little bit.
So then that is right there. That's when it caused them to fall out, right?
Yep.
And then the girl that's with the little brother,
well, so the whole time they were stuck on a boat that was upside down.
Yeah.
The little brother and the girl, she was holding him, and they were stuck on that one boat. But imagine like how traumatic that kid's going to be now.
Ugh.
I mean, like, bad enough that you're out there with the shark attacks and everything else, but like that was pretty brutal. That was rough. To me, that was like one of the worst kills, from the kid's point. I mean, that was just.
He would have been good to have in like another, like a Jaws sequel, like Revenging and just like killing sharks. I don't know if they're both in the third one. And I think only one of them is in revenge.
Yeah, but I would think the little one, like, see, like this is like a setup for a horror movie. Because the little one's gonna be like Psycho. And because I mean, this is traumatic. I mean, he witnesses a girl like that he obviously was friends with, who's older, get mauled right in front of him.
Oh, dude, that was good.
So like, yeah, I think that would have like that could have been like a cool like scene.
And he came up. You saw the shark pretty good, either hole. It was like the behind shot. He was like holding her hand.
The shark swallowed her whole.
It was awesome.
Do you think she was like alive still, like like Jonah in the world? So like, so she's like sitting in his like the shark's stomach.
Yeah, she survives. That would have been cool. That would have been really.
And then at the end of the movie, after like the shark blows up, she comes out swimming like she was.
Or if she was alive.
Oh, and then he killed. That's gross.
That's sad. So Brody finds the teens. The shark scares the shit out of him. Again, he's seen them before. I guess there's only so many times, no matter how many times you've seen a shark, you're going to be scared. Even Quint was kind of spooked when he saw some of the sharks in the first one, but that caused him to crash.
Well, yeah, and like I said, he just learned how to drive a boat, and that I thought that was maybe the end of Brody. I mean, he crashed, and what is he going to do?
Yeah.
We skipped over this one part, though, this one line that Mikey says. So, and I just wrote it down, I realized it, and not to go back, but so when Brody finds Mike and he says, "You're out here," and he goes, "Yes, my little brother, the little brother's out here too," and he goes, "You brought him out here?" So then the Mike goes, "Sean wanted to come. It's okay, wasn't it?" That's what he told his father. It was okay, wasn't it? No, it's not okay. You got death all around you.
And what happens? He leaves them.
Yeah, he leaves them.
He says, "Just paddle over to the island." It's like, wait, what if the shark's right here? You're putting a son, you leave your wife, you leave the oldest son, and just goes. I guess the young son is the golden child.
Apparently. Yeah. So anyway,
I have to say, big fan at the end of this movie.
So we have the girl that's in shock now. Right?
Yeah.
The one girl, and she's freaking out.
Pantsuit,
right. Then you have the other guys. You have Melon from Back to School and the guy with the curly hair. They made it to the rock wall, so they were safe. So who's out there still?
Well,
the girl in shock.
Shock girl?
Yep.
Yeah, she's still there. And I feel like it's that one guy that grabs her.
And the son, the little kid.
Oh, it was just them two?
I think so. I think that.
Oh, okay. I thought the guy that grabbed her when he was like, "You gotta come down. You gotta come down." Like threw her onto the. That was weird.
I thought he was the next one to go. After that scene, he should have been the next one to go.
That's what I was hoping. He survived because he was with Mike. Yep. But the mayor's son should have got eaten because then it would have hit home.
That was him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been like that would have hit home if that like actually happened. But so then Brody he sees the cable, and then he swings out, and I think that was him. It looked like him, like because he had the inflatable raft. He goes down to the cable and he grabs the oar, and he's just like banging it.
Now, does he? How does he know the power line is like on? Like how? Like first of all, I thought like maybe touching it would maybe give you some kind of shock. Though I mean, I'm not a power line expert, but like
I'm not, but I'm sure it's like any power line. Like you can grab a power line. Above.
Would you?
I wouldn't. But I guess when you're in that moment when the shark is staring you down.
Okay, so you're talking about a power line that was like, first of all, massive, like quadruple the size that you see hanging around.
Yeah.
And you're over water. I would stay so far away from that thing. Like, but he had the idea that he thinks the shark's going to bite it.
I guess because he knows, because that's the only way they can get electricity on the island. So maybe he knows it's that wrapped up. But dude, he's whacking it. And it's like, boom, to cause the vibration. And dude, I love the end line's great. That's it. Come on. Open wide. And then I'm surprised. I know he got out of the way pretty quick, but I'm surprised he took no damage.
Yeah.
And it just exploded, which I don't know why it would explode. I don't think somebody would explode.
Well, I also don't know, like, would the shark just keep biting it?
Well, I guess once it's like when somebody gets electrocuted, like in Home Alone. When you start getting electrocuted, you're like attached to that current.
Did you say Home Alone 3?
Oh, Home Alone 3, the one that we have close personal friends from that.
Okay,
but no. So I guess the shark's like, but I don't think it would cost somebody something to explode. Like, you never hear stories about, oh, man gets electrocuted.
Yeah, but you know what though? Like, you ever see Tango and Cash? When the guy with the big chin, he gets electrocuted, and you see all those breakers start exploding.
Oh, that is true.
So maybe.
But no, the shark's on fire. You almost see like that it's not, spoiler alert, it's not a real shark. But you just see it like just on fire inside, like just weird parts of it were on fire. But and then it ends.
Yeah.
That was the end. It was like a fade out of Brody on the little raft with his son. And that was it.
You know, I saw the movie a long time ago. I thought there's going to be one more thing. I thought the shark was going to come out of the water
my God.
one last time, like, or something, and then like maybe go back under. Like just pop out. Like, I think that would have been cool just to have him pop out. Like, he's not dead. Oh, he's dead. You know, like
that would have been Jason. That would have been like the Jason, the Correct. Too. Right. Like the killer's dead and they move. Even if it just moved a little bit.
That's what I mean. No, but just
didn't have anything else.
But just let him pop out like he's dead. But like just one last like come out like is he still alive? And then he's really dead.
Yeah.
Like that would have been like that would have I think would have fit perfectly. Like you would not expect it, and that would have been.
That'd have been cool.
Yeah.
So this sequel, this was one of the first movies that were number 2. Jaws 2 that weren't a Roman numeral, and the highest grossing until what was the movie after that?
Rocky 2.
Rocky 2. So this movie, I'm going to say, out of the sequels that we've done, this is a pretty good sequel with what they had and what characters they were able to like keep in the movie. Because obviously Richard Dreyfuss was filming they had to do reshoots for Close Encounters, and Robert Shaw got ate by the shark. What did you think?
Yeah, for all the sequels we've done, this is definitely one of the better ones, without a doubt. And it's not a bad movie, but again, I think Jaws is considered one of the best movies of all time. So when you have that platform and you have that title, it's very difficult to not compare the two. And so that I think, and especially with a shark movie, there's only so much you can do. It's a shark movie. A shark's going to eat people, and you're going to kill it. So in that case, it's such a step below the first movie for me, because the first one is just so awesome.
Oh, I know.
But they definitely stepped up their game a little bit. They tried to do the best what they had. I just think, personally, I think they're missing some likable characters. Like, to me, there were no likable characters, including Brody. I mean, at this point, Brody wasn't even likable anymore. Like, there was no likable characters that you really felt bad. Like, all right, I feel bad. This one died. Like, any one of them died, I didn't care. Actually, if there's a dog that died, I probably would have cared. That's it.
So here's what I'll tell you. I like this movie. I don't think there's anything else they could have changed, because what they had to work with, it was fine. But one of the ideas that was thrown around in place of this movie was going to be Quint's son and Brody's son go out and hunt down a shark. I maybe if they got the right guy to be Quint's son, then it could have worked. I don't know who would have been like. I couldn't even think about anybody from that time frame. But no, this is a great sequel to do, man.
I think right. You would have. It would almost feel like as bad as The Godfather 3 is. Andy Garcia played a great Sonny's kid. You ever see Godfather 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So he played a great Sonny's kid. The movie was horrible, but he played Sonny. So I think if you had someone that played like Quint's iconic character, I think that it could have worked. But I think, you know what? It was a different take on the movie. I mean, how many times are you going to go out there looking for a shark? I like the fact that it's like a bunch of kids that are out there, and, I think for what they had, it worked.
Yeah. The shark was cool. The
Yeah.
effects are great. All right, so that's it for Jaws 2. The next movie that we're going to be covering, in honor of December having a Friday the 13th, is, of course, a Friday the 13th. We're going to be covering Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. It's close to where me and Jamie are from. And next week's interview is with Michael Benyea. He plays Jojo, the street thug in the movie. And Michael has had a phenomenal career. He's been acting since he was so young. In high school, he was a little celebrity because he was on 21 Jump Street. Most recently, he was in Deadpool. And over the years, he had a great voice acting roles. You might know him from G.I. Joe. Or I remember him from being the voice of Haji in the TNT reboot of Johnny Quest. So you're going to love his stories. He has one about Henry Winkler and another one about the great George Segal. So yeah, tune in for that. Don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast, tell your friends, and then on all social media, follow us at Sequels Only. Good night.
Good night.